Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, The Stand Kind Media. We are your hosts. My name is Ocean Simeon.
I am Taylor Vier.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring to you our weekly update on Disney Plus and Lucasfilm's original show, Andor. We are on episode 9 of the season. It's a 12-season episode. We're on episode 9, and things are starting to unfold. I think there's some things that happen in this episode, which I will say this episode is definitely a filler episode. But there are some things that happen in this episode that are foreboding for the future, and we'll talk about those in the spoiler-free section, or in the spoiler section. Sorry, but as always, we'll do a quick spoiler-free and very quick, and then we'll dive into some scores and then ultimately spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen the first 9 episodes of Andor, they are all on Disney Plus right now. Check them out, and then join us for this episode. So, Taylor, any general thoughts, spoiler-free, on this episode?
It's another episode of Andor.
It's another filler for sure. I think it's definitely a filler episode, but I think it does what it needs to do for going forward. For me, like, there's just, and I'll talk about it in the spoiler section, but there's some things again that I really like, and there's some stuff happening with certain storylines that, you know, it's going to turn into some big stuff. So I'll give a score first real quick. I'm sitting at a 7 still. I think I gave a 7 for last episode as well. But for me, it's still right there. It's still like an average good show, good watch, still enjoying the 45 minutes every week. You know, like, it's not like I'm dreading watching it or it's become a chore anymore. It hasn't become a chore. It's, you know, I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. But this week was definitely a filler. So I'm at a 7. Where are you at on a score?
I think this episode, I don't really remember what I gave last one.
I think you were a 6. I want to say you were a 6.
Okay, if that was a 6, then I'll say this is like a 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I hear you. Things, they're definitely, it's definitely slow. So, well, that's our scores. Me 7, Taylor 5, and then we'll dive into some spoilers now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your official
Spoiler alert.
All right, so I think I can kind of understand why your score is going down just based off of the pace and this episode. There's not really a whole lot that happens, but when I look at this show as a whole, the things that it's brought to the world of Star Wars makes me really excited. And what is potentially going to happen going forward in this season also makes me excited. So that's why I'm still holding on to that 7 score tier. Specifically, all of this Empire stuff, man. I know I have a picture in here somewhere. All this Empire stuff. I know we keep talking about it every episode, but it's just so great to me. Mm-hmm. It's so great. It's so great to see all of the inner workings of the Empire and how they're doing things. This scene in particular, where they're kind of like it's kind of like a quick reaction, right? They captured a pilot that belongs to Krieger's group or whatever, and they're trying to figure out, you know, how do we use this situation to our advantage. Yeah. Right. And what they come up with, and just the dialogue and the back and forth between the lieutenants and the commander, and just like, it's just great. It's just great to see that stuff. And I wish I could see more of it. Every time it happens, I look forward to those scenes. So the fact that we're continuing to get that stuff is huge for me. Right. It's not, they're not shying away from it. There's not less of it. We're still getting more of that deeper look into the Empire, and I really like that. And then the way that I foresee this season ending or going, I'm cool with, like, this whole prison break stuff. Yeah, I actually like it, because one, I really like Andy Serkis. So I love Andy Serkis. So just him being at the center of this storyline is great. But I don't know. I feel like a prison break is going to be cool, especially with the obstacles that they have to overcome in order to do this. right? To especially in this particular prison, I think it's gonna be kind of cool. So, are you not enthusiastic about a Prison Break?
No, there's nothing. So I love these two specific things you just mentioned. Is
Yeah,
I love the ISB section every time it comes up.
sure.
I love seeing the Empire. I do really like this prison thing going on. The thing is, it just feels like the exact same to me as the first 6 episodes, where it's really just a cool idea, long build up, and then we're gonna get the prison break in the end.
Right.
Is what it's
So you're saying
foreshadowing.
is like the build up session could be shorter. Like they could shorten the time it takes to get to the climax or
I mean, I don't know if that necessarily needs to change or something. It's just clearly a set like I don't know
pace that they're
theme
going
or
for.
style of their
Uh,
what's it called vision. Like that's
sure.
just what their vision is, and that's what their storytelling is doing.
Okay.
Which in the first 6 episodes, I was not a fan of the first like
Right.
I don't know, probably
Two
like
or three. Yeah.
5 or whatever. Well, especially yeah, more specifically the first 2, and then but even then it like there was I think there was like 1 or 2 fillers after that too. So it's like the main points I enjoy a lot. And there's a lot of cool things that happen, but it just feels like a long build up to something like that I ultimately don't like the build up, and then the ending is just like so episode 6 was cool, I
Right.
guess.
Satisfying for sure.
I mean, in some cases, and some were just stupid, but is it worth it? Kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. What I'm hoping is gonna happen is that all of these filler episodes and all of these other things going on is going to come to play when we get to future seasons, right? And that's like as far as good storytelling goes, that's what should happen. What should happen is in these filler episodes, all of these smaller, more intricate and more finer details that are brought to light and maybe some characters that are shown along the way come to play later on in the story.
yeah.
And so when they do, there's callbacks to this season so that you're not so that they're established and whatnot. So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. Whether or not that actually does, we'll see.
Right. We just have
Right.
to wait and see.
So, but I do hear you that there are some very long build up periods. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future, but I'm hoping that that's what's going on here for this particular show. What did you think of this scene right here? Do you remember this scene?
Yes.
Okay, because this is the only not only, but this is like the biggest problem I have with this series, and it's like the most like annoying thing to me. I just don't understand what it is we're doing with Cyril. Like, what is going on here? Like, I understood it to a certain point. He was supposed to be the antagonist, right? And he's after Cassian, and he's a little bit weird and a little bit off, and he has but he's got this like conviction about him for his particular beliefs. But now it's just getting weird.
Yeah. So the thing is, right, I really liked him in the beginning. And then after he gets, fired or whatever,
Right.
then he starts dropping off. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this is just his down point and
Right.
he's going to start picking up.
The Valley, right?
No, this
Yeah, it's
guy
just getting
just
worse.
pushes past the limit, and he is full on serial killer, creepy
it's
stalker, cringe factor, and I am not okay with it.
I'm not for this at all.
No.
Like I don't like it. I get what they're trying to do. So for those of you who haven't seen it yet, Cyril gets interviewed by this lieutenant. I can never remember her name.
Miro.
Huh? Miro? Miro. Lieutenant Miro gets interviewed by her about the events that take place on Ferrix. And then during that interview, like basically he tries to get himself a job with her. Like he tries to like be like, "Oh, I can join you." I can
The thing is, it's so weird.
it's
So
weird.
you could
They
take
don't-
a normal, like if it's almost like if I was like, "Oh, hey man, like I saw you drive your car the other day. That's a really nice car," and then you responded, you're like, "Do you want to like go get a room or something? I'm like, wait, what?
Like, hold on.
Yeah, like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's
Where
just,
did that come from?
it goes like I get it. He's trying to get a job with her so he could see through this thing that he started and has essentially ruined his life. But the way he goes about it is just, to me, it's just not normal, and it gives off very weird vibes, and I don't foresee where it's going, especially
Well, the
because
thing is-
Lieutenant Muro is so against it.
Yeah, it's like, what? No, bro. Like,
Yeah.
just stop.
Like,
and
she's
she's
like,
not
dude,
getting the
yeah, not getting the point.
the point is like, come on, dude, it's not that hard.
And now he's literally stalking her. Like this particular scene,
He
ladies and
literally,
gentlemen,
he showed up and waited outside of
the
her
ISB,
job.
yeah, and waited for her. And then when she like approaches him and they talk, then she tries to walk away and he grabs her arm.
Yeah.
And like in my head, I'm like if you're a lieutenant in the ISB, like you should just die right there. Like and
I mean, well, she says, right, like, I could literally have you
Yeah.
arrested right now. She absolutely should.
Yeah,
But she
should've.
doesn't, just to be, I guess, like,
I don't understand
nice
why.
or something. But
And this
what I
is-
hate, it's like,
Yeah.
he's like, you know, like, oh, I'm just, he turns super obsessed with her.
It's-
like, in his, you can tell by the way he's talking.
so
It's
weird.
like, I'm so glad there's somebody
Yeah.
else that believes in like the cause or whatever,
Yeah.
so much as I do, and he's just like holding on to it. It's like, whoa,
please.
bro, this is really intense, and I
Yeah.
don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like,
either.
I understand, like, oh, you see somebody else trying to do something good, right? But now it's not about Cassian anymore. It's
No.
not about the two guards. It's not even about like, it
The
doesn't even
right
seem like it's
thing.
about clearing his name anymore. It's just
No.
like this weird, like, sounds like he's so
It's like an addiction
lonely
almost. Oh
that
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, now that he's finally seen somebody that feels as strongly or passionate about justice like he does, he's just like in love with her.
Yeah, it's
That's what it
weird.
feels like to me.
Yeah, I don't know if there actually is a love interest there. I think it's just like you said. I think he
It
was
just comes
lonely.
off as a very
Yeah,
creepy
it's very creepy.
obsession. Yeah.
This particular scene, and what happens exactly like right after it. And this might be a bold prediction here, but I kind of get the feeling that Lieutenant Miro is not necessarily 100% for the Empire. Like I don't know if I would go as far to say that she's a double agent yet, but like the way that she handled this situation and the way that like she's, to me, she could potentially be a character that is just like so, like her job in the ISB and her being so on top of all this rebel activity is like her or the rebels' way of like keeping an eye on what's going on inside and like steering the Empire towards what they want to, right? I could be completely off and she may not be a double agent, but if she had ended up being it, I think this is kind of where we're starting to see maybe some conflict in her. And I don't know. I picked up on something weird during this scene and immediately after, because she goes to her office and that's when her assistant informs her that they've captured a pilot, and she initially says, "Oh, I'm gonna go right now," but then she's like, "No, wait, there's no time." And then he tells her to leave, or sorry, she tells him to leave, and then there's this moment of her just like standing there, and like her like catching her breath almost.
Yeah.
And it just gave me this, that particular scene just gave me this little bit of a like, maybe there's more to her character. Not necessarily maybe she's a double agent, but maybe there's just more to her motivations and what's going on.
Okay. I guess something like that would make this potentially better in the future. That is not at all something I would personally think of, because that is something that sounds too smart for the situation. The only reason I say that is because of all of the failures from
Yeah,
episode 6
sure.
and before. If that happens, okay, that might make it a little bit more interesting. To me, the only thing that I've felt after her, as far as Lieutenant Muro specifically, is the only reason she didn't do anything is because she just felt like extremely, embarrassed about the entire thing and felt so put off from it is why she just wanted to get out of there, just walked away. I was just like, nope. And then whenever she ran into the other guy, to me, that's why she just acts the way she does.
No, that's
I don't know if that's the case, but that's all it came off to me as is
100% could be
tied to this guy just being a creep, and she's just like, what the hell is this? And then just tries to run
it
off from
100% could be. And like I said, I'm not sitting here, ladies and gentlemen, saying that Lieutenant Miro is a double agent yet. I just like this is another
You
one
heard
of those,
it here first.
This is just another one of those things where I'm like, if she did or she was, this is where this is the beginning of that transition. But I mean, I actually like her being.
I like her as a character. She's actually really
she's
good.
great. I think she's amazing.
Her and her superior officer.
Everything about the Empire in this show is just great.
Well, I just really love that her officer, like superior, is not just a stupid asshole.
Yeah.
That just ignores
the guy
everything.
Above him
like he actually is like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. We should actually check this out or do this,
Yeah, this
and
scene,
everybody else is like, yeah, that makes sense. Instead of just like, no, shut up, get out of here.
Yeah, no, you're right, 100%. Yeah, this scene was weird. I don't know what's going on with Cyril. Your clothes are weird. Killer. I don't know what's with the necklace tie.
It's just his outfit for his job, I guess.
I guess it's a uniform, but like everything about you is weird, bro. The conversation he has with his mom is weird.
Yep, everything about it.
Strange. Everything about him is weird, and I don't understand what they're doing with it. Yeah. I don't see there's in my head. I can't foresee where they're going with it. Before I could, like this scene, and maybe a few episodes ago, before I could see it, I could see them, him being this.
He's gonna have a meltdown, and he's gonna kill her.
Maybe. I mean, shit. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know what they're doing with him. Before, I thought he was just gonna end up, eventually finding a way to gain some kind of resources to go after Andor, and he was going to be another obstacle that Andor had to overcome. But at this point,
he's so disconnected for everything. It doesn't even.
I don't even think that
sense.
he could do that yet. Like I don't foresee a way of him doing that. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens with him. But as of right now, this is by far the worst part of the show. And I'm glad that there's not a whole lot about it. Like there's only a few scenes here and there about him. So I would be okay if they just cut it out altogether. But that's just me. So, what did you think about Mon Mothma? Or not Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma's cousin. So apparently, ladies and gentlemen, Mon Mothma's cousin is Vel. And like I get it, they're trying to tie this group of rebels together, but did you really need to make them related? Like, did you really need to do that?
Well, it's not even just related. So she went from trying to be this super hard, rough around the edges rebel, and she is in fact royalty, essentially.
Yeah.
Or, high status.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I'm just be honest, this entire thing about the show with Mon Mothma and all this senator crap, I don't like any of it. It's boring. It's stupid. None of the characters are interesting to me. On me personally, I just don't care.
Yeah. So,
and this connection is just stupid because I hated her anyways. Right. So now this makes it even worse because you're just connecting the two. And it's like, why?
I don't like the connection. If you wanted them to be connected in the fact that they're both rebels, that's cool. But you didn't need to make them related. They could just be friends or work colleagues or whatever. I don't know. But you didn't need to make them related. As far as Mon Mothma's storyline with the Senate and everything goes, I agree with you that so let me retract that. I disagree and agree with you. I agree with you that it's very, very boring right now. I disagree with you because I really enjoyed it initially. Like when they first introduced her and, we started learning about how she was helping the rebels from the financial side, but there hasn't been like any progression in her storyline since episode 4. Like, it's just been the same
Well, she
thing.
doesn't even move money. Like, I don't
well, there's
understand
nothing.
why she's here. Like, she'll have
nothing,
like a conversation with Tay, and it's like, oh, I moved 40,000 credits. Whoa, bro.
Yeah.
So much money. Like, you just had this giant, I guess,
Banquet or whatever,
heist,
Oh,
and stole supposedly 80 million, which didn't look like that.
I don't know.
But and now you're moving 40,000. Like,
I don't know. I don't think that. Well, there's nothing that's going on. Like, it's the same thing over and over. Every time we see a scene with Mon Mothma and her situation, it's the same thing. She's having conflict,
and then her daughter shows up. And then her husband makes some stupid remark because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
There's some random people at the party that they all fake their little stupid political crap with all the time. It's the same thing
over and over.
But now, instead, we got Vale doing the same thing. And then it's like, wait a minute. So now you're this cousin to this senator, just disappeared for months.
Yeah.
And nobody questions that.
Well, she did say that, like, hey, go be the spoiled rich girl that everybody thinks you are.
Yeah, but that doesn't make the disappearance okay. Yeah. Like, how do you explain that?
I don't know. That's why the fact that they're cousins is just not. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. So, I don't know. I really hope they do something with this storyline, because especially with the fact that they could tie it into Senator Organa and all the other rebellion factions and stuff. And they could even, like, what they're doing with the Imperial, like the ISB and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they show a little bit of her in the Senate, like in the actual Senate talking about stuff. But they could, like, do a little bit more with that. Like, show us a little bit more about what politics really...
Because nothing happens.
Yeah.
So they need to figure out a way to actually make this portion interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's not. If you just have it on screen just for me to learn, oh, yeah, they moved this many credits this time.
Yeah,
They moved nothing this time. Oh, he didn't show up to the party this time. Or whatever. Like, who cares?
No, I agree with you for sure on that part, that nothing has happened, and they need to do something in order to keep this storyline interesting. So, do something.
Yeah, that's it.
Do something with it, man.
Please.
Yeah.
Or or take it away. I don't care.
Yeah.
One of the two.
This scene was pretty sad for me. Just because, I don't like torture. But I also... So is this... A question that I had. Is this doctor... I'm guessing he's somewhat connected to, like, the questioning... what is that? Like, the robots and stuff from... I can't... You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the interrogation.
Yeah, the interrogation droid.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that this is like the precursor to that.
Probably.
Yeah, like
something
this
like
is.
That.
Yeah. What is the doctor named? Gorsk, I think.
I don't
Dr.
remember
Gorsk.
his name,
I think so. But yeah, this was sad for me for sure, because I don't like torture, and big, sucks that you had to go through that. But this is another one of those storylines that nothing has happened, and it's just dragging on to me. Like, Ferrix is under Imperial control now.
It's like not important anymore.
Yeah, but it's like, it is important because it keeps showing it. And
they want you to keep remembering it, but there's no reason for us to care.
Yeah. Bix gets captured. She gets injured. She gets
some
interrogated.
Guy connected to her or whatever related gets captured. Who cares?
Lieutenant Miro shows up to try to figure out who Luthen is. Still doesn't find out who Luthen is. Like, when are we going to see some movement in this stuff? When are we going to see what is it that what role does Ferrix play in this?
Yeah.
Right? Because...
if any.
Yeah, because, like, the way that everything else is going with, like, Andor's specific storyline and everything else, I don't see where they come into play.
Right.
So I don't
honestly, this whole thing, this section, the only thing I actually enjoyed about it was the initial shot with Lieutenant Miro in the room with the other guy that Bix knows. And he's just on the chair or whatever, and the guy's like, oh, should we move him? And she's like, no, I want her to see him.
Yeah, and then she's
That's
like...
it. That's the only thing I liked from that scene, because the whole, like... interrogation thing with the torturing, it's fine, and the doctor guy is cool because he's creepy. Like he
Yeah.
fits, fits the role.
He fits his role. Yeah.
The device thing. So they describe it, right?
Right. It's kind of.
And the thing is,
up.
it's like, it sounds really bad, but I can't really personally like feel anything for Bix going through it because it's just in her head. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't show. It doesn't
Like if
show us.
if I'm saying, oh, like I'm gonna cut your finger off, that you can like have a like a
an empathetic response.
because just the pain and all that kind of stuff. But because it's something psychological,
and they don't even show. They don't even let us hear it.
You don't. No, yeah, exactly. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything. You just see her scream. So it's like, okay, I believe you that it seems painful, but I can't really
empathize.
Empathize with that. But the whole thing, it just seems like a slow covering their grounds right from before. Because now the whole antenna thing with the messages, they've intercepted that, and they know everything's been going on because it's connecting to what we know as Luthen, what they call Axis or something like that. Yeah. They're trying to connect the dots. And this basically is just filler for that.
Sure.
Seemingly. That's, at least for now, that's what it seems like. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, until it comes into play later, as of right now, I don't care. I don't want to see it. I don't really care.
The only thing that I want from this storyline right now, until you guys actually like develop it and do something with the people of Ferrix, if you're gonna show us Ferrix, just give me more of my man hitting the gong. Just just give me more of that.
I mean, I'd rather just see the other guy that's friends with Biggs, the big dude, and I just want to see him fight somebody. I don't know, something, because he's cool.
You can tell he messed somebody up.
He's ready to just fight somebody and knock them out.
Yeah,
because he's just playing dumb right now.
Right, he's just blending in,
hanging out. Yeah.
I agree with you. And then let's dive into Andor's storyline because there is some development there. Quick moment of silence for the man Olaf. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
Had a massive stroke, and it was. I guess I have a different perspective from it because I have medical training and stuff, and it's just interesting to see how that worked with the medical technician and whatnot. Because he's just like, he did like these very basic tests, and he's like, yeah, I can't do anything for him. He's gone. So it was just.
I think I actually liked it because, and then I hated the reaction from Cassian and what's his name? What's Andy Serkis's character?
I don't remember.
I forget. Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
let me say that I don't not like it. I think it's interesting for me because I'm looking at it from a medical perspective of like, okay, here are all these signs, like especially when he was working or when they were on program and he kept like twitching and then he had the like real brief case of dementia essentially where he forgot what they were talking about. Like all of that stuff screams that to me. And I'm like, this dude is messed up. Like he's something's going on. And then unfortunately turns out to be true. So.
Yeah. Kino Loy.
Kino, that's his name.
He's the floor manager. Yeah, so their reaction to it was, I guess it's understandable, but stupid to me because they were like, what do you mean you can't save him?
Yeah.
Bro, you're in prison. This medical tech guy, do you really think they care about you? Yeah. He's not like a professional
doctor.
Like somebody from the Empire actual doctor or anything. He's just another prisoner that probably got assigned this duty that might know some
he
stuff.
Probably has some sort of medical background.
But
and they're like, oh, we can check the box with you. Like,
right, like you can fill it in. Like even if you were just remotely not really that relevant, but it's medical. There you go. You're a medical.
You could be a dentist.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're just a dentist, but like, nope, you're a medic now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's like. That's what I would imagine it to be.
I think it definitely.
And so they're like, "What do you mean you can't help him?" Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, this is
And he's just like, "Look, all I can do is give him the injection," and like,
just let him pass. Yeah.
It's sad for sure.
It is sad. Rest in peace, man. You held it down. Old as hell.
Yeah,
40 days
very
away
old.
from
And he
getting
was
out.
almost out.
But was he really?
Just 41 days from retirement.
Was he really though? Because that's the big development in Andor's storyline. So it seems like some more time has passed, right, between the last episode. Because in the last episode, there's a 30-day jump, and then it seems like some more time has passed because Andor has begun to try and figure out a way out of the prison.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's starting to work with other prisoners, like the guy that can communicate to the other people or whatever. And then there's also some other African American guys that we hadn't seen before that he is working with as like a lookout or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then when he goes to the bathroom,
that actually bothered me too.
The bathroom scene?
When he went to go sneak off.
Oh yeah.
And do his little.
Well, he went to the bathroom and then he like opened up a panel and started like cutting at a pipe.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's like the power to that lift so that they can stop the lift. But that panel is just so obviously.
See, that's like, the problem, right? It's not even just that. So look, okay, bro. So remember last episode how I was complaining about he just seemed like or I don't know if it was last episode or before.
Yeah, it was.
He just seemed like an idiot.
Yeah.
He was, in fact, an idiot, because now in this episode, they do the complete opposite, and now they actually show you him, like, thinking things and being smart, right? Now it's proven, because that's how you normally would do that.
Yeah.
Instead of just, like, yeah. Now he's, like, he's looking around, he's, like, counting and out loud and stuff.
Yeah.
So now we actually see that, which is fine. But how are you going to tell me that of this entire facility, you figured out that this one panel that is so obviously busted open and like messed up, because this whole facility is clean. White. Everything is like set and specific, and there's an order. Everything has its place and all that kind of stuff, right? There's no way that nobody has seen that panel.
Right.
It's like been broken open multiple times. He's had this, I guess, spoon, whatever, sharpened to cut this very thick looking pipe. Yeah. And I don't even know how you know that pipe is the one that has this power cable that you need to cut. Like the plan that makes sense.
Right.
But how did they figure out this for that? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
The guard thing makes sense. That's why you should ask. That makes sense to ask that.
Yeah.
But how do you go from that to, we need to cut this wire?
Right. Now, where did you get that information from? Right. And I hear what you're saying about seeing the panel, and I got to my knee jerk reaction is I agree, like somebody had to have seen that panel, but Andor also makes it a very very specific point that it seems like the guards don't pay attention to them, like they kind of just do their own thing, like as long as nobody's making trouble, then it's not a big deal because all they have to do is flip the switch, right, to kill.
Yeah, and no, I get that from like the standard grunt like prison or like deputy or whatever that just works day to day. Makes sense why they just don't care because they're just there to work or whatever. Right. But this facility is so advanced.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, like, even with that like mindset, that nothing would have detected that.
Yeah.
That's like, just because, we know we wouldn't expect you to actually, like, break out or kill anybody or anything. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Right.
You usually have things in place in case it happens.
Should be redundancies for it, for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
I understand the point he tries to make. It's just a little too much, like too convenient.
But it seems like their plans are going to be escalated and pushed forward a lot because there's some development from one of the other levels, and I thought it was really interesting. Kino's reaction to all of this and his
I hate his reaction.
I think it's interesting because of how quick he changes around on it or whatever. But basically, there's an incident that happened on another level, and everybody's freaking out because they had to like get on program or whatever, and everybody's trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, they're all sitting in the tunnels,
and everybody was like, something happened on 2 and whatever, and they couldn't figure it out, and Kino's reaction to it is just like, everybody shut up, like just stop worrying about it. It doesn't affect us. Like it's on another level. Like just shut up, stop.
That was the perfect reaction that he should have.
But it was interesting to me because like I get it. He's the floor manager. He's responsible. He's also only got 200 days left, right? So I get it. He's just trying to make sure everything goes smoothly so that when his time comes to leave, he can leave, right? And then we find out when the medic comes to help Olaf, he basically tells him like, oh, nobody gets out of here because somebody that had gotten out or that was supposed to get out got put back.
Well, he got released and then got put right back in
on level 2. And I think, correct me or let me know if you got a different impression, but basically it sounds to me like they don't actually let you go. They just take you to another place and you just continue your work there.
It could be that. To me, it kind of connected more to the whole back when they kept being like, oh, the whole
PORD.
Yeah, PORD thing or whatever. And so to me, it felt more like because of the whole directive thing right now, they are not letting people go. And they're just got you and put you right back in, but on a different floor. Yeah. But it could very well just be
that particular
you're screwed like no matter what.
Yeah. So now, once that interaction happens with the medic, now Andy Serkis is in this headspace of like, oh my god, like now I'm not gonna get out of here. So why am I?
He loses hope.
Why am I gonna be a dick about everything now? And so he kind of just shuts off, or he kind of just like he loses his guard, I think, a little bit. So, and that's pretty much where the episodes end. So I'm interested to see how it affects his ability to lead going forward. Like, is he gonna lose hope and essentially turn into just like, oh well, why would I even try if nothing's gonna happen, you know? Right. Or is he going to fall in line with Andor's escape plan and try and help? Which they allude to that fact at the end because Andor's like in the beginning of the episode, Andor's like, how many guards are on each level? And he's like, I'm not answering that. And then at the end, he asks him the same question after that, and then he tells him. So it alludes to the fact that maybe Andy Serkis or Kino is gonna, help with the escape plan. But
I mean, yeah, he already is by giving him the answer, never more than 12. But yeah, it's gonna obviously play more later. We'll see. I just really don't like the change in his character, even if it's just for
it seemed
a
really
seemingly
sudden.
brief moment. It's just weird because in the beginning, when he gets introduced, there's other people that are like that where they had no hope and they're always like, oh, you're never getting out of here, blah 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 blah, which is reasonable to me for somebody to respond that way. But the best way to combat that is to do what Kino was doing, which is to shut that down and be like, no, you don't ever say that again. Like, I don't want you doing that stuff. Yeah. And you don't want to spread that because that's what ultimately kills everybody.
People, yeah.
And so him reacting the way he does after finding out this information from the medic kind of ruins what I thought about him because that, you know what I mean? Like
well, maybe it was just in that moment because we don't see him interact with the whole floor yet. So maybe in that moment he, reacted that way, and he's gonna, pick himself back up.
That's what I'm saying. It's only for brief moments. We don't really know, but
hopefully that's what happened.
Yeah, if it continues, it's gonna suck.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot that happens, like a lot of subtle things that are alluding to what could potentially happen later on in the season and future seasons in this episode. So I don't know. What did you guys think? Are you guys thinking the same thing as us as far as like what's going to happen at the end of the season? How do you guys feel about all the different storylines, right? There's quite a few. We haven't really seen anything from Luthen himself recently.
No.
It's been a few episodes since we've seen him, so I'm interested to see if we'll get an update on what's going on with him and his assistant. But what do you guys think so far? We're entering the fourth quarter of the season, and things are kind of coming to a head. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a Prison Break as the finale of the season, right? But what do you guys think so far? Are you guys enjoying it? If not, let us know why. What issues do you have with what's going on? And if you like Cyril, then you can just stop watching our videos because this dude is weird. All right. But thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you guys as always. Check us out next week around the same time for another update when episode 10 comes out. We'll be doing them every week. So check us out. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend, and stay tuned for Thursday. We got a pretty special episode coming out on Thursday. So stay tuned for that because you guys are going to want to, I promise you're going to want to watch that episode. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Catch you guys in the next episode.
Off program.